Boss, did you receive the shipment of 1 million Ridge wallets? Our plan to starve the market of Ridge wallets is going amazingly. We'll be the only supplier soon. They'll have to buy it from us. Shall we still give them 10% off? Ho ho, boss, you truly are generous and benevolent. Thank you, I'll let them know. Goodbye.
A commentary video. I've been enjoying Dead Man's Hand Warrior recently, and wanted to go over a couple of games of Dead Man's Hand. I've posted a few videos, but this one I want to go through what your win condition is against a deck like Kingsbane. Kingsbane has some decent early flood of pirates and cannon shots, but once you clear that up, you got to worry about the weapon going infinite with a huge amount of damage on it. So in the mulligan for Kingsbane Rogue or Aggro Druid, you want to look for a Skipper, the anchor weapon, and kind of low drop Armor Smith and Rover, so you can weather the initial attack. So the hand we've got there is pretty good. We even top deck a Skipper there in case we need it as a quick emergency play, but we can afford to take a bit of damage at the start. Even though that's a decent start from him on turn 1 and 2. For us, we can just bide our time a little bit and gain a bit of armor. And the top deck on Armor Smith's really nice there. The way you beat Kingsbane Rogue, if you ever played Dead Man's Hand or you're interested in playing Dead Man's Hand, the main weapon you want to draw after all this is Bulwark. That's the end game finisher. So the end game in a Kingsbane Rogue deck is clear all the small bits. Once the board's clear and he's run out of resources that you've cleared up with Armor Smith and stuff like that, you want to play Bulwark and just tank out the weapon. Whilst you're tanking out the weapon, you want to play the Brutes and the Prime just to deal face damage over those couple of turns. Our opponent has a very fast start. No Kingsbane, but he does just buff the weapon up with Deadly Poison and Oil, and I'm taking a massive amount of damage already here. So he's actually committed 3 upgrades to that weapon to try finish me off. So this is the turn where, well, I'd normally wait a bit longer, but we're already pretty damaged up there. So whenever you do this turn, you tend to want to play Armor Smith first because that's got the most amount of health. So you play Skipper, Armor Smith, and then Rover. I typically do it like that. And your Armor Smith and your Rover are at 2 HP apiece. But in a Kingsbane matchup, don't really care about the minions being 1 or 2 HP, because when he plays Cannon, the Cannon shot's going to finish off a minion at 1 or 2 HP regardless. So here, full armor. I play the other pirate there just to get as much board presence and armor on that turn. Because if he does draw Kingsbane now, he's only got 1 oil left and maybe a pirate upgrade on it. So now we're getting to our end game plan. We need to draw either Battle Rage or carry on drawing with the Acolyte of Pain I've got there. Which we always do. We get the armor in as well. Get the board clear in. Just make sure we attack first, because it is a race eventually. Every point of damage we do to his face does matter here. No real big card draw just yet. If the Rogue ran Sap or Eviscerate, I would probably suggest that he actually Sap or Eviscerate the Acolyte, because it deals, it helps out massively getting to our last bit of win condition. Here though, he's all in basically, so he's got his oil upgraded and the upgrade pirate as well. So he's actually drawn pretty well. I mean, this is nearly as good as you can draw with Kingsbane. It's just a shame for him that he upgraded the basic hero power rather than his Kingsbane at the start of the match. But it should have been fast enough against most decks. So here we're starting to basically carry out our game plan. We've survived the early bit of damage, and now we're just coming into this is basically the cannon turn. So this is his last stand basically with minions. Battle Rage comes. It's a little bit late on the Battle Rage, honestly. Normally I'd like to have that on the turn I do Armor Smith and Rover, but we're pretty okay here We can play Barov, clear this all off, and then hit the Blood Razor. We want to just make sure this board is cleared off as best as possible, because now he is in top deck. So his top decks are only going to be stuff like Eviscerate and or maybe Paths and Cutting Class is his best top decks. His top deck is Paths, but you know, it's to be expected. Paths or Cutting Class is ones that we don't want to see, but because he's drawn quite a bit already, you expect to see it eventually. So I think he's one off lethal. Yeah, he's one off lethal. So no Eviscerate for him. I don't know if Kingsbane lists run Eviscerate or if they run Sap. Depends what they're getting matched up against, I guess. But this is pretty much a full clear for us with the Barov being on table. And he also got Raiding Party just to redraw that weapon. And I think he correctly just Hero Powers, yeah. You never play the Kingsbane immediately in case your opponent has weapon removal. Rightly so. So here I just want to gain a little bit of armor with the Rover, and I also want a Battle Rage. I can only ever draw 2 cards here, which is what we go for. We get the Bulwark, and that is game plan on. So we just go for the Rover trade, gain a little bit of armor, attack with the weapon, and then go for Bulwark. A Dead Man's Hand here as well, because we do want to potentially redraw Bulwark there. I mean, the opponent can tick us down with a weapon strike per turn, but there's no more charge minions and there's no more cannon shots. So as long as I'm able to clear his minions each turn here, it's 4 turns for me to gain armor and develop a board, which is pretty easy. So it would just be like here, Brute, Shield Slam, and that's a full clear with our hand. And we're getting the 5/8 on board, ready to go face, because the Rogue now has to hit me to get this weapon off. So we can't really deal or afford resources into this Brute. So I think it's what's his turn limit here? He's on a pretty tight turn limit. I think he's got 3 turns to kill me, and that Bulwark's also blocking him. So I'm going to have enough damage to actually start hitting face soon. So yeah, I mean, obviously these minions are never going to stick. You're right, Cat. On his part, these minions are never going to stick. And I can rush one in, kill that, and then go face with the other. And like I say, yeah, that puts him on a pretty tight timer. Also, because his Kingsbane can only ever be 5 attack now, I'm slowly armoring up past the point where he can't actually kill me, even if he does have the Kingsbane. So yeah, the other Brute draws, so that's 10 damage going face, the other one trades. And yeah, next turn dead. So that was exactly the timer that he was on. He was on like a 3-tick timer there. And yeah, so when you're playing Demon's Hand Warrior, the main part of the deck is having the right opening hand against what you perceive your opponent to be playing, and transition into late game and knowing what your late game finish is. So with like I say, with Kingsbane, you get down to a point like this in every match, and the Bulwark blocks out 4 ticks, 4 turns of damage. So I hope you learned something there, and I'll try to post some more of these videos in the future.